Let's talk again about referring to catalog sections. Go to the digest, the hard copy digest. At the top of every page, there is a reference to a catalog section. So I could go and look up a hard copy of that catalog section as well. But if I go to Digest Plus, the online catalog, for example, I can go to Load Centers, View Load Centers, go to Plug-on Breakers for Homeline Load Centers, scroll down. Here's my HOM 115 that I pointed out earlier. If I scroll to the top of the page, there's a catalog section. I can click on that catalog section. It'll bring that catalog section up. I can download it if I desire to, or I can add it to my documents. I can also do that on the My Schneider app if I desire to download or save a favorite document that I refer to quite often. Let's talk class numbers for just a moment. Every product in the digest has an associated class number. For example, here in Digest Plus, I'm looking at Homeline circuit breakers. Notice at the very top of the page, it references class number 1170. If I move on to NQ panel boards, NQ panel boards are now in class 1640. If I move on to section 16 of the digest and I look at lighting contactors, note that they are class 8903. For the majority of control products, that class number is the prefix to the part number of the product, whereas with distribution products, that is not necessarily the case. The layout of each section of the digest are very similar. For example, if I'm in section 1 and I'm looking at load centers and I want to look up Homeline circuit breakers, the table of contents is the very first page of each section of the digest, and I could find the appropriate page number for Homeline circuit breakers. Now I'm in section 1. The beginning prefix of each page number is 1-. When I go to section 2, that page or that section number changes, so the page numbers start over on each section. Now, in the case of, for example, Homeline circuit breakers, they may be in multiple sections of the digest. For example, you find those also in section 7 of the digest because they're relative to circuit breakers being in section 7. They're also relative to load centers, which are found in section 1. As we go through different pages of the digest, we try to show as many photographs as possible to give you some visual of what those various products look like. So now let's look at some of the advantages of Digest Plus. We're now looking at section 7, so I've opened up that particular section listing of the digest. I'll demonstrate in a minute viewing that section. But also note that I can download a PDF copy of that. I can view related content. And then also we have Easy Selector. So if I click on Easy Selector, notice it brings up molded case breakers or miniature breakers. I'll click on miniature breakers. Click on Homeline. I will click on Homeline breaker, 15 amp, single pole, and there's our part number, HOM 115. As well, if I go back to View Miniature Breakers, I'll pull up that particular section, go to Plug-on Circuit Breakers, drill down to the table, single pole, 15 amp, HOM 115. In addition to each particular section for the various products in the digest, a lot of other useful information. For example, if we go to the very back inside cover of the hard copy digest, we find our conductor ampacity table, which gives us a quick reference as to the current carrying capacity of various size cables, whether they're aluminum or copper, based on the 75 or 90-degree C tables of the National Electrical Code. As well, I can find that in the Digest Plus by just doing a quick search, conductor ampacity, go to wire size table from the Digest 177, and what that would do is then bring up that very same table once I drill down to that various table. Let's move on to footnotes. Footnotes in the digest play a vital role in either referring us to another section of the digest or possibly overriding a piece of information that we might find in a table. And we're going to give you an example of that. So as our example of the importance of footnotes, we'll move to transformers. As you're probably aware, in 2016, the Department of Energy required all transformer manufacturers to make their transformers more efficient. This caused some significant weight increases, which is what we're going to demonstrate. So as we look at that, we see that we're in the transformer section, section 14. I view transformers. It brings up that table in the digest, and here is my EX75T3H. As I move to the right in that table, I get to the weight column. The weight is 710 pounds. Notice it carries a footnote number 1. And then also in the enclosure code column, we have that 20K. So let's move on to the accessories page. Now we're in table 14.8. We look up 20K, which is right down here. I'll scroll down slightly. Notice that in this column here, this is the weather shield column, wall mounting bracket. Notice the wall mounting bracket has a footnote. So if we scroll down to 20K, it tells me that the wall mounting bracket for that particular transformer is this part number here. However, if I click on that footnote, number 2 talks about wall mounting brackets are used with units weighing no more than 700 pounds. That footnote overrides the data that is shown in the table. The footnote that says that these dimensions are not for construction, these are just generic weights. It's very possible that transformer may even weigh more than 700 pounds when it is constructed at our factory. So this is a perfect example as to the importance of footnotes.